So I am Ian McGraw. I am the facilities manager for Ventura County Medical Center main campus, as well as Santa Paula Hospital. So we've all seen the red and white outlets within the hospital. So white outlets, normal power, normal devices, phones, tablets, personal devices can all be plugged into white outlets. Red outlets are reserved for emergency power, which would include any kind of critical or life supporting equipment. So when you're through your departments, make sure that the right devices are plugged into the right outlets. And if there is something plugged into a red outlet, we want to verify that it's not functioning or it's okay to remove before you remove it. And during generator testing, you'll see all the white outlets go they go dark. So we want to make sure that the red outlets are working. So here are some numbers for you guys. Maintenance is customer service. So when calling maintenance, you see the numbers listed there below. The more information that you could provide, the better. So your name's always important. Building location, specific department, phone number in case we have to call back with any questions or the technician is having an issue locating the problem. And if most equipment in the hospital and items in the hospital have an asset tag number, even all the doors are asset tagged. So if there's a door that's giving you a hard time or something that needs to be fixed on it, you could look in the door jamb and you'll see a little asset tag in there. That way we can reference it in the work order, and then the maintenance technician knows exactly what door the problem is. We have a lot of wood doors in there, so we want to make sure that we get to the right one. We get about 3,500 calls a month, and we set up a work order tracking system, or like a priority for work orders, which I'll go over in a minute. But you can see Monday through Friday from 7 to 5, you can get a live person up here in maintenance. And then after hours, it goes to VCMC paging. We do have emergency services. We have a maintenance guy on site 24/7. So Sunday through Saturday, 12 to 12, we have maintenance tech on site. Myself, I'm on call 24 hours a day, as well as all the trades. So I have an electrician on call, plumber on call, and HVAC on call. So any issues arise, we'll be able to take care of it. And if anyone is working with GSA, the number there at the bottom, that 3878 number, that's who you want to call. So we don't service all county buildings, just the hospitals. So the work order tracking system, we don't accept email requests. I mean, of course, it's going to happen here and there. I'm not going to turn it away, but we really encourage people to use the phone. But we do prioritize the work orders that are called in. So we have a 1, 2, 3 tier system, which basically results in anything that would be like a fire, flood, or loss of utility would be a priority 1. So we have a toilet overflowing, there's water going into the hallway. That's going to be a priority 1. All the technicians carry radios with them, so we get dispatched right away. You'll get immediate response. 2 through 3, they're a little bit different. Like a priority 2 would be considered something maybe like a drippy faucet or a leaky faucet. It's something we want to repair right away so that we can serve as much water as possible. But at the same token, take a little less priority. It's not damaging the facility. And then a priority 3 would be something a little bit more of a cosmetic issue or something that could wait a couple of days. And those are the time frames that we try and respond and get the jobs done by. So having said that, we do apply a work order number to every call that comes in. So if you want to ask the dispatcher for a work order number, it's encouraged. That way, if something's not going down or it's taking a little bit of time, you can always call, reference the work order, and we can tell you what the latest update is on it. So project management, like I said, I have a new facilities operations specialist, Chuck Daft, who's doing a lot of the project management for the hospital right now. We do take on new facilities alterations, renovations, new equipment that we might have that comes in. We have to go through, everything we do inside the hospital has to go through, we're under OSHPD jurisdiction. So OSHPD is the state regulatory for planning and development. They basically come and make sure that we're doing everything to ensure the safety of the patients is met and the safety of the hospital is met. So there's a couple of different people that will have the fire life safety officer stop by every once in a while, or the ACO come by to make sure that we're staying compliant with things. OSHPOD's a tough one. They're kind of way OSHPOD works is if you were going to do something at your house, construction related, let's say you wanted to add a couple outlets into your kitchen, you could probably get a general contractor out, $300 to $500 depending on what it is. OSHPOD, you're looking at the tens of thousands of dollars just right off the bat. There's plans, there's load studies that need to happen, and once again, it's all in the general idea of keeping the patient safe, and that's not causing any extra harm to the facility. So, but we take those on. Right now, we got a couple of big projects. There's the new Ronald McDonald room that is in the vintage part, or the 305 building. And then we're working on renovating our Feiner building, levels 3 and 4 right now. So some exciting stuff and coming down the pipeline. Environment of care with maintenance. It's kind of, we try and keep the environment as cared for as possible. So you'll see myself and a couple of other guys doing monthly inspections throughout both campuses in all departments. I make sure that the guys carry a clipboard, so they look super professional, like they're going to get somebody in trouble. But the basics of it is we want to make sure that the environment that we're caring for these patients is up to standards with Joint Commission and any other regulatory CMH bodies. So we do perform monthly inspections. I am the Environment Committee chair member. We meet on a quarterly basis. We discuss all the results. We get the fire department involved, and during our monthly inspections, we're looking for things like egress in hallways, making sure that equipment's stored properly, making sure that no fire extinguishers or medical gas shutoffs are blocked. 18 inches of clearance from a fire sprinkler head, something that maybe you didn't really think about being an important thing, but if you have a box in the storeroom that's blocking that sprinkler head and we call upon it to be used in service, and the box is blocking it, then it's not going to be able to do its job. It's going to impede the spray pattern. So we want to make sure we keep enough clearance from those. Emergency lighting is inspected on a monthly basis, and fire doors. We want to make sure that you don't have any doors, wheelchairs, or anything blocking a fire door. So very important to make sure those fire doors close and latch in the event we actually need to compartmentalize the building during a fire. And then with equipment stored in hallways, so Joint Commission has a saying, if it's sitting for 20 minutes, it's considered stored, so it should probably go somewhere. So some of the big ones are egress and definitely the equipment in the hallways. And then we do notice of violations. If we find some deficiencies, we'll issue a notice of violation. If not, I'll just try and educate. I try and educate if I see something wrong. This is why we were looking for this. This is why it needs to be done right. So going back to the fire life safety system, our mission statement is to provide a fire safe environment for patients, visitors, staff, and volunteers. So one of the biggest takeaways you could take from this section of the presentation is finding out what your role and your responsibility is in your department. Become familiar with the fire safety program, participate in fire drills. If you know your department and you know what your role is, then you'll know how to respond properly. Attend any fire training classes, learn the location and how to operate fire alarm boxes and fire extinguishers. So we're going to go through a little bit. I'm not going to train you. You guys are not certified firefighters, but we will go over a little bit about how to operate a fire extinguisher in the event you do, and what a pull station looks like within the hospital. And then become acquainted with evacuation maps. Typically, they're located by stairwells. So in your department, find the nearest stairwell, there's more than likely there's going to be an evacuation map posted there. And if you see something, say something. Reporting the deficiencies. If something doesn't look right, give maintenance a call, make a work order, and we'll either fix it or we won't if it's okay. So in the fire life safety, one of the quiz things we'll talk about is it's an acronym called RACE, which is rescue, activate, close, and extinguish. So rescue anyone in immediate danger of the fire. If the fire's in a patient room, remove the patient out of it. Then close the door behind you and windows if it's safe to do so. And then if you look up at the right-hand corner, you'll see a pull station. That is the nearest, that would be the nearest pull station to your department. It actually has a plastic cover over it to deter any pranksters or kids from pulling it and causing false alarms. So it's a two-step process. You'd have to remove the cover and then pull the white handle inside. And believe me, you'll know when you activate the fire alarm system. It's quite the show. You got bells, whistles, you got doors closing, all kinds of stuff happening. So if you pull the plastic cover off, that's not activating it. You got to pull the white handle down. And there's some emergency numbers for you too. There's an inner number, which is a 76666 number. And then the 8666 number is for Santa Paula. And then any campus or non-campus buildings would be 911. So then going on to close, contain the smoke by closing any doors, and extinguish. So return, if you do have to use a fire extinguisher, please return it back to where you got it from. Once again, we're going to go over it here in a minute, but the fire extinguishers that we have in the hospital are small. So depending on what you're going up against, when we talk about evacuation, you can do adjacent compartment evacuation. So anyone that's like an ambulatory care patient, we can go from compartment to compartment. That's why we don't want to make sure those fire doors work, right? So if we can, all those fire doors close and we can create compartments that contain the smoke, and that way we can still operate in part of the hospital and move on from there. When responding to a code red, you want to always use precaution. If there's a closed door, you don't want to just go grab the handle, push it. We've all seen Home Alone. Macaulay Culkin grabs it. Not a good thing. So check with the back of your hand. That maintain dexterity in the front of your hand. And then if you do take a patient out of the room and close the door, usually most departments have some sort of marking system, whether it's a Post-it, whether it's a pillow. You got to find out from your department. And what that does is that alerts first responders knowing that you've already checked that room. So when the fire department gets here, they see the mark on the door, they don't have to check that door. They just move on to the next one because they know you already did. So the more you get acquainted with your department and the fire program, you'll be able to keep everyone calm, because once again, in the event of an actual real emergency, they're going to look to us to keep them calm and keep them safe. So just know your role when you get to your department when it comes to the fire life safety system. So as promised, here's your big fire training, your fire extinguisher training. So the acronym that we use for fire extinguishers is PASS. And that's pull the pin, aim at the base of the fire, squeeze the trigger, and sweep. So we inspect these fire extinguishers on a monthly basis. We make sure that they are fully charged and ready to use in the event of an emergency. But do remember that before you approach a fire, you might want to test it to make sure it works. You want to keep low and approach with the wind at your back, and always back away and watch for rekindling. Once again, you'll see the size of the fire extinguisher. I mean, if you're going into an inferno, you're not going to make it. It's not going to make a dent on it. So, but when we participate in fire drills, we encourage you to show up with a fire extinguisher. You're no good to us without one. So they're located throughout the hospital. Grab one. Just please return it when you get back. And there's no lack of training that I can tell you. We do a lot of fire drills here. So it's one of our Joint Commission standards that we have to meet on a monthly basis. So we definitely encourage you to participate. During the fire drills, we do throughout the year, we measure knowledge, we do staff knowledge. Most of them are unannounced. We conduct in both campuses. It's one fire drill per shift per quarter. And at the North Tower, because of its size and the way it's spaced out, we do a little bit more. We almost do it by department over there. That way we can capture everybody. And then the clinics are required to hold 2 fire drills per year. And one of the drills is full-on evacuation. So we do get the fire department involved as well. And then during a code red, this is what a medical gas box looks like in the hallway. You want to make sure that if it has to be shut off, that it's either the direction of a respiratory therapist, anesthesiologist, and maintenance. The 3 of us have to all be in concert before any of these valves are turned off. But in the event of an elevator, code red, you don't want to use the elevator. That's going to be reserved for first responders and ambulatory patients. So I think that's all I got. There is my contact information. my email, my phone number. If you have any questions or concerns, please reach out to me. Other than that, welcome to the county. You guys made it. And that's all I got. See you guys around.